The 6-year-old who shot his teacher should be institutionalized. The mother of the child has been charged. But why not the 6-year-old? I'm not saying he should be locked up for good, but at least institutionalized for 5-6 years where he cannot harm anyone else and be taught that horrendous behavior has consequences. Media says he had acute disabilities. As if that makes a difference? He could have killed someone. And I fully believe that was his intent. A 6-year-old, who clearly had sharp enough executive functioning skills to plan a violent attack. He should be in juvenile or another institution right now. Some treatment is definitely needed. The problem here is that our legal system requires a defendant to be able to fully understand the charges being brought against them. A 6-year-old cannot do that. I would hope that there would be some intervention and treatment, but it's not going to come from the justice system. This kid is desperately in need of psychological help. It's a shame that he didn't receive it before he nearly killed someone. Kid had numerous previous incidents of violence in school, and had made many threats to students and staff. He should have never been in that school. And the school knew he was carrying a gun, and did nothing about it until he shot someone. Kids should spend a long time in a secured mental health facility. Agreed. Needs to be closely monitored for a while. Obviously something wrong in his brain. There's a ton of people who should be institutionalized. The old sanitariums had their own problems. But we really threw the baby out with the bathwater when we just decided to shut them all down and let the mentally unwell just go out into the world and hope for the best. I thought this opinion was popular. This shouldn't have even happened to begin with. Fact, during the first half of the school year, the 6-year-old was required to be accompanied by a parent during the school day because of his violent tendencies. That fact alone should require a full stop. This kid should never have been in that classroom at the school to begin with. I wonder if the parents of other kids in this class were informed of this arrangement? The 6-year-old definitely needs some kind of help because it's not normal behavior and has history of violence. I wouldn't say institutional is the best move, but definitely get a professional in his life to observe and figure out what the best move is. They keep saying he has acute disabilities, but I've yet to see anything more descriptive. Also, apparently he had to have a parent with him at school to get him to behave. At that point he should not have been in regular school. It's almost like maybe he shouldn't have such easy access to guns or something. Honestly, agreed. The kid had a long history of his behavior and he's only 6. I don't want to think of what he'll do in the future. He definitely needs some sort of help or treatment. When you live in a house made of wood, douse the place in gasoline and start handing out matchbooks. Who do you blame when the house burns down? He is currently hospitalized and receiving treatment. It's fucking bullshit that the system allows people to hide behind disabilities to escape consequences. Psychiatrists have admitted in cases of child murderers that sometimes there is no treatment, e.g. The Motive on Netflix is a good example. Sadly, I think this child will always be a danger to others because there are some things that are untreatable. The 6-year-old definitely needs mental health and guidance. But that an adult allowed a 6-year-old access to a firearm is also alarming and requires action. Do you agree? People will get mad, but I believe some people are just born evil and it's not related to their upbringing. I don't think he should go to jail yet, but I agree. He should be monitored carefully, and that too for a very long time. Normal 6-year-olds would not try to attack their teachers. Forget about trying to kill them. When I was 6, I wanted to conquer the planet, but not in a mean way. Yeah. All of my kids knew right from wrong and the consequences of their actions at 6 years old. And what guns are too. Some behavioral and psychological help is needed there to ensure he's processed the severity of what he did. Lobotomized would be my choice, to each their own though. I don't think that people who don't know the people involved, including the kid, nor nothing but what is reported in the news, should not be saying what should be done. From outward appearances, it's hard to argue, but we don't know, so it's just blowing hot air. But he is? He's in a long-term psychiatric facility last I read. Children don't really understand death at that age. If you're going to lock up every 6-year-old who has wanted to kill someone, we'd have every damn child locked up. The problem falls on the parents for creating a situation where the kid can kill someone. It's the exact same as children playing with matches. Just because a kid wants to see a big fire doesn't mean he is an evil arsonist, it just means he is far too young to understand the consequences of his actions. Institutionalization ruins people's lives, and a child shouldn't have his life ruined for a parent's mistake. That's the thing, his disabilities do make it hard to know exactly what was going through his head. I mean, a genuine question here is, did the kid understand that guns can cause real harm? Like, even non-disabled kids don't get punished for crimes at such a young age because of how little a child can really understand and comprehend about the situation and the consequences. The way he is treated needs change, and he certainly needs more supervision, but that doesn't inherently mean imprisoning the kid or institutionalizing him. Teacher wouldn't have been shot if the kid's mom didn't have a loaded Fiang gun laying around the house. She's the one who should be put away. I think nothing above a psychological check-in with a highly trained professional should be necessary. I think there is a case to be made that institutionalizing someone so early in their development could lead to a greater likeliness of repeated crime than more psychology-based care. If you put a violent 6-year-old in the U.S. rehabilitation prison programs, I'd say you have a very good chance of him coming out more violent on the other end. Yeah, this is the worst and cruelest idea I've ever seen. Do you want to create a sociopath? Because that's how you'd do it. Should we just ship him to the gulags? My professional opinion is you set sanction and punish and deprive to heal. You love and love them more even when they're hard to love. Love and therapy build self-esteem and teach the best lessons. Why do you think most clinicians don't advocate for imprisonment for their juvenile clients? Maybe not locked up, but closely monitored. Yes, he could have killed someone. But he is 6. The parent should be held accountable as they have been. He was taught by his parent violence. It can be unlearned. But you do not do that to a child by locking him in a prison cell. He needs therapy designed to help him, not hurt him to benefit society. You're trying to blame the 6-year-old when it's just not his fault. He's 6, not 14. I'm sure the 6-year-old is getting or going to get the treatment he needs after that, but if a 6-year-old shoots someone, it should be on whoever allowed them to have a gun. We need to bring back the asylum system. People with serious mental illness and trauma have very limited access to care unless, by luck, they have a very supportive family. Others are left to suffer without care, often on the streets. And those become further traumatized by encounters with law enforcement and jail. For all its flaws, asylums provided a lifelong home and treatment for those who needed it most. Those who are saying that institutionalizing him so early might ruin his life, I agree. Plus, it would be expensive. Let's just put him down. In the best interest of all involved. Of course. He's probably playing an FPS on his tablet right now. Some kid shot his teacher? The news is quiet about this one. Weird.